public hearing. We'll start with invocation. Mr. Pastor, if you would.
Everybody please stand. Oh, Lord Heavenly Father, we want to just come to you again, beginning this meeting asking for your blessing, your presence with each and every one here tonight. Help our meeting to go in a way that will be pleasing to you, Lord, in every way. You have the wisdom. We do not, Lord. We depend on you, Lord. You are sovereign. Just help us, go with us, and lead us into the way that you would have us to be tonight. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance to flag our country. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I've got a kind of a cold, I guess. Been coughing kind of a little bit off and on all day, so I'm going to try this mask. If you feel I'm mumbling and can't hear me, just raise your hand and I'll do my best. Okay? So thank y'all. We'll introduce Miss Julianne Meadows. Miss Meadows will be talking about the Joint Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. On behalf of the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, I'm going to come tonight and talk with y'all and with everyone a little bit about the comprehensive plan process. The Georgia Planning Act of 1989 requires each local government in Georgia to prepare and update a comprehensive plan, in this case every 5 years. This is a joint plan including Fannin County and the cities of Blue Ridge, McCaysville, and Morganton. By holding this hearing tonight, Fannin County, on behalf of the municipalities and the county, are officially starting the comprehensive plan process, giving the public a chance to weigh in and comment, and just making that, putting that in the public purview that y'all are updating your comprehensive plan and meeting those requirements of the Planning Act. We have met with Fannin County in each of the cities, and when I say we, Gretchen Lugard is your planner on this project. She could not be here tonight. I'm here on her behalf, but she is the primary contact with the Regional Commission for y'all. But of course, any of us are glad to assist and glad to be here. There are some requirements that y'all we will assist y'all in meeting with the plan update. This is your previous plan update. It was done in 2017, so this is that 5-year update. And between now and October 31st, 2022, that is the deadline to have the next 5-year plan updated. Gretchen has put together a suggested schedule, and this is what y'all have as a handout. And it's something that when we've talked with each of the communities, we may need to make minor adjustments as we go along, but I think this seemed pretty good to y'all. And that will get us in good shape to prepare a draft plan with input from each local government, as well as the members, the stakeholders that y'all select to represent you throughout this planning process. There'll be strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis as we go into those meetings with those representatives that y'all select. We will be there in those meetings to kind of facilitate that discussion and kind of bring some demographic information to that group and to y'all. And then we'll check back in with each local government throughout the planning process. There's lots of opportunities for public input. This hearing is just the start of that. So we'll be working with y'all to hold those meetings and give plenty of opportunities for public input. We'll meet those requirements, be in good shape, prepare a draft. The draft is reviewed by the state. And then once it's approved, it will come back to y'all and to the cities for adoption before that October 31st deadline of next year.
Yes. Stockholders.
Yes.
Or stakeholders.
Stakeholders
Yeah.
that have a stake in the.
Yeah. Who are these stakeholders? besides, is it like the cities and the county?
Ms. Woody has a list of those stakeholders, and she'll share it with us. And these are, from my understanding, these are people from in and about the community as well,
It is.
and in different parts of Ohio,
Businesses.
Okay.
as far as that goes.
So like another board, we're gonna have to appoint,
Similar to it, I guess.
Temporary.
Yeah,
Yes.
temporary.
that means I'm in school.
As many as we could get.
I think we had 11. We were shooting for 15, but I think we have 11 right now.
And I think that includes like the Chamber of Commerce, Board of Education, or school. It's a pretty good list. Not everyone may be able to come to every meeting, so it's good to have a good mix.
Residents are on this board too.
Yes.
Yeah, we have some residents on here as well. But I feel it's a good mix. From the list I saw, I felt it was a pretty good mix, and again, I spoke to Miss Woody and tried to brought that up tonight, but I think she had to actually leave a little bit early as well, so. Rick Patterson?
I don't have any questions at this time. I think she did a good job presenting it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gretchen is great to answer any questions. I think that Sherry and the chairman have her contact information, so if we can answer any questions that do come up, we'd be glad to do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So we'll open this up to public commentary now. So if anybody has any questions about what has just been said, or if you would, please come on up and we'll talk about it.
Do we have anybody present from the members that put the last plan together?
Just to be honest with you, I'm not sure.
I don't think we do, not at this time. Miss Woody was on that last time, so she had to leave a little bit early, so.
Oh, okay.
And again, I haven't seen the last list, so I really couldn't tell you, sir, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Mr. Webb?
I'd like to basically give some historical reference to this. Back in the aughts, we formed a group literally under the government sponsorship in partnership with TBA, and hired Georgia Tech as a consultant, and started a group that literally went for about 5 years called Fannin's Future. We literally had a planning committee, which I was privileged to be on. I was the first interim chair of the Public Affairs Government Committee, and then Mayor Barbara Stevens actually took over from me, and I was her secretary. Then Tommy Benoit took over from her, I was his secretary, and we went through that process for about 5 years. There was literally consultants hired from Georgia Tech to help us focus this, and literally the group was disbanded about 5 years later. So some of the things I see that we need to literally address in the comprehensive plan are literally a consolidated county-city water system. We have huge opportunity there. It may not be possible, but perhaps the road departments too should be consolidated. I would certainly hope we're planning in the future to look at the T-Splosh, which David Ralston got put through in 2015, to actually fund bridges and roads, and then move the regular splosh to normal infrastructure, such as the library, maybe more for water, things of that nature. If we don't get more money in the pot for infrastructure, it does not matter how good the plan is, we cannot implement it. There are lots of things that we need. Basically, the admin building's still in place. We need a public library that's at least at a minimum to a medium state standard. We need to look at some of the recreational opportunities in the South County. We have the Benton K Trail, we're a trailhead thing. We have terrible parking out on Astor Road to access that. People are walking out on the road. It's confusing. I know that's the federal government and us, but we seem to be working things out down at the Swinging Bridge and places like that. So maybe we can do something on that trailhead. If you look at the future, they condemned the Shallowford Bridge. That's a lot of forestry property. There's going to be a lot of things going on there. Perhaps there's a recreational opportunity there. Now, on the asterisk, there's a big liability. If we walk a person across that bridge and they get hurt, the county is liable. The state will basically cut the cord on that one. Maybe we need some more stuff down near Van Sant's store, maybe a couple of ball fields or something. Maybe it's not organized recreation, but we need to start looking towards the south part of the county as far as recreational also. So all these things come out in comprehensive plans and government planning, and I think we really need to get back to a public process like Fannie's Future was. Thank you.
Well, Joe, let me ask you a question. So you had this board and it was abolished. Why was it abolished then?
Because the chairman at the time didn't want to deal with the issues that were coming up.
Okay, so did y'all have any ideas of Fannin's future back then compared to, have we had?
Yeah, I mean, there are literally documents upon documents of things that people brought forward. I mean, we looked at everything from literally how do you obscure a parking lot of a big lot thing, which is putting the trees out in the highway in the interstate, so you never see the big box. There are a lot of things that the planners tell us we should be thinking about. You know, put the parking behind the store, those sort of things. There's a lot going on infrastructure-wise that a lot of people looked at. There were literally over 100 citizens, and I'm talking about people like Mr. Henson, who was over at the superintendent of schools office. I'm talking about, you know, the mayors and people. I mean, there was a huge involvement in this for about 5 years.
And
And this is right after Levi's shut down. So that was part of the stimulus for starting that group, economic development.
So that's been a little bit ago too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it
Just
probably
kinda-
ended in 7 or 8, somewhere in there. It's probably started in 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay.
Generally.
we're learning as we go. I mean, you know, that's why I was asking that.
Yeah.
Find out something new every meeting.
No, they actually set up a land use planning committee that was heading towards not zoning, and I know zoning's a scare word, but that's when the thing got tanked. They didn't want to address land use. We got through building permits early. We got through alcohol early.
But it's time we're not over that, but still yet those issues or things that we're facing now, like you talked about,
Yeah.
like even county ordinances and stuff, it's got all the.
Yeah, and the county ordinances are a little bit outside what they're dealing with, but you're absolutely right. We need to look at the major ordinances as a product during the next year. And this group could help with that.
We appreciate it.
Anyone else?
I do.
Yes, ma'am?
I'm a resident of the county, but I've been looking over this, and I went to Fannin's vision statement, and I'm just hoping that this process can really be what this says. I mean, this is my opinion. Fannie County says the government will work to respond to the needs of visitors and permanent residents, providing for public safety, economic growth, good education, clean water and air. You can't have clean water and air with all this development coming in. And our rivers, according to the 2017 comprehensive plan, are polluted. One of them with, I think, E. coli. I mean, here's the goals that are on there. We will encourage the development of business and industries that diversify the eco base and provide quality employment opportunities close to home while minimizing our infrastructure's and mountain environment. That's not true. What businesses are coming here? They can keep our kids here because it's industry, and I haven't been here but 5 years, so I don't know a lot. But you have the industrial park. Apparently there was a certificate where the city joined in and got some kind of badge for TVA. So I went and I looked to see how TVA helps small counties, communities. you would be amazed at what they're bringing into Chattanooga, Alabama, to 5 states around us. But they have badges they earn. And the members had to do the work to earn the badges. And it seems to me the more cities that had more badges by working through the TVA had more success.
What type of success you talking about?
What now?
What do you, when you say success,
They brought in big corporations
that's what you want?
with controlled growth somewhere.
Oh, okay.
With, I mean, I haven't had time to look at Fannon's land use program, but why can't we go past 60 on 515 and have industry? I mean, this community is turning into part-time residents, and some other things I believe are happening in this town. I just feel like we're not thinking really about the future. And future is controlled growth, and nobody likes the word control. But I also feel like it's part of keeping our kids to want to stay. So we don't, what's gonna happen, I wasn't prepared to do this, but in this report is the percentage of growth up until 2050. And it's gonna decline after it hits peak, maybe 2030, according to what I read in the report. What are we gonna do when that happens?
Growth is supposed to peak at 2030?
Not growth, people, residents. Now, this is part of the DCA. It came out of the governor's office. Like I said, I wasn't prepared to speak, so I can't give you the exact numbers, but I can find it and get back to you on it.
Well, Fannie County is made up, the largest part of our land mass is made up of forestry service. So I don't see any of that land
No,
going anywhere.
I agree.
And as far as I don't really, that's a conversation, I don't know, or what you're saying when it comes down to you take in consideration the safety, for instance, the water, from what I've been told all these years is our waters, we don't have, you got equalize a lot of things.
It's in this report.
And I don't doubt that in some of these streams, but the thing about it is, we got good water here in Fannie
Oh,
County.
I agree. I agree with that.
And
But the future, what happens when we start letting, I'm just using an example.
I'm trying to protect the now, so I know what you're saying, I'm planning for the future, but
Then we protect the now to protect the future.
true.
I mean,
Protect the now, protect, to plan for the future.
exactly. I mean, I came from a county, Oconee County, which is right outside of Athens, that in the 90s, when Gwinnett County started overdoing it, and now we see what that looks like. The commissioners, it was expensive, but they had a land use program. They started it, citizen input, blah, blah, blah. And Oconee County's controlled the growth. If you're down in South Oconee where it's agriculture and it's zoned A, if that future land map doesn't say that citizens 20 years ago thought commercial was a good idea there, it didn't happen, period. I mean, nobody likes control, but there's compromise. And I just feel like everything in this vision statement, it sounds good on paper, but it's not true. Affordable housing.
Ma'am?
It's ate up.
not to interrupt you, but can you tell me when that vision statement was actually put out?
This is on, maybe she can tell you.
And I'm not trying to be
Oh,
jerk, but
I understand.
but I know we have two people.
Is that where you read it?
No, this is the DCA report.
It may be in the development plan.
Okay, we have two commissioners that are brand new to this. This is our first year. We have another commissioner this is his third year.
and I'm brand new at
So
this.
we're trying our best to listen and do what we feel is best for our community. And that's something, if you hadn't been to one of our meetings, and I'm pretty sure we kind of preached that about all year, is, hey, we're in agreement on that. I mean, we are. I feel we are, and I don't want to speak for either one of y'all. But we want to do what's best for our citizens and also take care of the tourists who do come in. We have become dependent on tourism, and we know that. But we are trying to give back to our community as well.
It's a vicious cycle.
But, and here's another thing, you talk about bringing industry in. What kind of industry we're bringing in? I mean, we was talking about the clean air, so here's a smokestack going up, but there's some industry, you see what I mean? So these are things that we do look at moving forward, and we're not trying to get away from anything. We're trying to get caught up to something that has passed us by. And I feel that this whole year, and again, you know, I'm not speaking for anybody but myself. I feel this whole year has been a catch-up kind of year. And my head, I ain't gonna lie to you, there's times I sat there, my head's spinning, and I'm like, holy cow. You know,
learning year.
It's been very much a learning year. I learn something new every day. Mr. Webb has been gracious to teach me some things. Believe it. Thank you, Mr. Webb, I appreciate it. But you see what I'm saying? We are trying to get to a point to where both sides, we want to have our cake and eat it too. You see what I'm saying?
And I think the
we are
residents
trying,
want that too.
we are trying to get to that point, but we do have to catch up to a certain point. We got to get back up to this level before we can ever look at something else. And I feel that that's what we've tried to do this whole year. And do we still have some catching up to do? Absolutely, we do.
So as a resident that, I haven't been here long enough to know, how many of you are available that can explain the process?
You got a piece of paper?
Because it's a vicious cycle. What industry do we want to come to Fannin? But what is that industry gonna do to Fannin? And nobody's answering anything. It looks like it's just going
Well,
round and round.
Well, you know, one thing about it's like the chairman just told you, you got your choice. Either we can allow stuff to come in with smokestacks, or we can continue on the path that we've got right now where tourism brings in millions and millions of dollars, which that is an industry right there. That's an industry.
That's the industry we have right now.
And it's keeping our construction people working. So a lot of our people's working in this county. But then again, you've got to watch, because the more that you do here, you got to look at your roads. You got to look at your bridges. You got to look at what we're putting on our employees, public safety, the water, the sewer. I mean, the city of Blue Ridge, for instance, they're running into sewer problems now. Mike's sitting there. That's one of your major problems. All the building going on. What are we going to do with all this? I mean, you know, and we're trying to. Fannin County, I think, this is my home. I've been here all my life, and these guys too, and a lot of the people here. So Fannin County, to me, I want to keep it as clean as I can. And you about your kids, they're like boomerangs. You can throw them and they'll come back to you. Don't worry about it.
I know. My
They
kids
always
are
come
right.
back home. I mean,
They
mine
don't
has
wanna
never
leave
left.
me. That's the problem. But I mean, I just don't understand the process, every aspect. Y'all know more than I do about things, and I would like to start learning. But is there a way that we can all benefit from if we want to get involved?
We'd love for you to get involved. I want you to rest assured.
How can I be a stakeholder?
Well, I didn't even know we had them, but I mean, raise your hand, you're on it. I mean, you know, you have a stake in this county too. But rest assured, I know that these commissioners up here want the best for Fannin County and its people. And we are guided with our legal advisor and some of the people that's been here a while. We're only going to do what we think is good and right for our people in this county.
And Ms. Dawes just brought up a good point. The Chamber of Commerce puts on a class called Leadership Fannin. And you know, I actually started that class, and then of course COVID shut us down, but from what I understand, that's a fantastic class. The couple of meetings that I was available to attend, I mean, it really opened my eyes to some things that I had no idea, and I, you know, lived here all my life.
Okay.
So that may be something that you reach out to the chamber as well and see if you can get on that leadership Fannin class. Because it encompasses so many different aspects within this county, kind of gives you a little better idea of what's going on. So maybe reach out to the chamber.
I will, and thank y'all.
No,
for
thank you,
listening
man. We appreciate you.
All that, I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
As part of the process, Julianne, there will be basically, as you said, public input. And those will be announced, and that will be an opportunity to come forward. A lot of times committees are formed out of those bigger meetings that look at specific issues and things of that nature. There have really been great progress is made through this process. We were literally the 157th county to implement building codes. They've been state law for 30 years. But it took a public process, a huge public process, to move through that. And fortunately, we had a commissioner on the commission who was a builder. So that was the perfect time. They all agreed that it was going to be done. The question was when, and we convinced Barbara Stevens and I it would be better to do it while Randy was on the board than wait another 2 years when he wasn't on the board so the builders could be met. And we literally in this room had about 4 public hearings with panels to discuss basically how we implement a state law and building code. So there is a previous process, and working with the commissioners myself, I have found they're a good bunch to work with, and I've really worked with every commission since 1998, okay? I've run for office twice, so basically I've been involved. So anyway, I think we have a good start here. It's a good timing. It has been a learning process for the last year.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Appreciate it. Anything? Yeah. Ma'am, would you mind if I got your name? Just sure.
In public.
Well, I tell you what.
You don't want to tell them.
I want people to know where I live.
Why don't you come up here and just write your name down?
I might as well get my house tagged after a while.
I'm not gonna give my name out either, so. And then we can counter. Okay. Appreciate it.
I need to come to Fannin because I'm going to take. My parents bought in that old lot in 1999. My dad passed away. And I just lost my mom this year, so from dementia. So, you know, we care about the Blue Ridge when I moved up here in 2016. Yeah, they want Publix. But then, my mom grew up in Variance, and last month, they're fixing to tear down her house in Variance. It's the last historical house. And I don't know if you've ever been through Variance, but get on Google Maps and drive through. This was a little town later.
We used to be little.
Yeah, I know.
Sure did.
So,
We used to have 3 red lights.
just set a fire.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I know it. Well, yeah. 5 was the main road.
Anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, before we close?
Just quickly,
Yes, ma'am.
just to kind of back up what she's saying, I think one of the things that a lot of people have concerns for is everybody understands how important tourism is, and nobody's taking that away. But when all your eggs are in the same basket with tourism, it brings so many other problems. I know Ms. Sherry's here, and she's already shaking her head. But one of the things that we're seeing as a result of that, and this was a learning experience for me from 2 people on the Planning Commission at Blue Ridge, is that the higher the percentage of rentals that you have in a community, the more difficult the problem is to have affordable housing of any type, no matter what you want to call it, if it's affordable, workhouse, whatever. You start running out of that because everybody starts converting those long-term rentals to short-term rentals for the money. It's all about the money.
You're right.
And so we're seeing problems now that people just cannot find places to live, and they're being given, 30 days notice that they've got to vacate because they have no life. So, I back her up on what she says about some type of industry besides tourism to just cushion it. So if we have another thing like COVID did to us last year when it shuts everything down, you know, what do you have to fall back on? People were out of work with no paychecks and they had nothing to do because nobody was coming here.
Sure.
So, you know, that's one of the things that I hope this process will do. And my question to you is this a living document for you? Because coming from the corporate world, you know, when you have strategic plans and comprehensive development plans, you live by those and you work on them at least once a year, usually twice a year, updating them. You don't do it every 5 years. You know, I hope that this becomes a living document so that you're constantly referring to it and saying, this is our plan. You know, are we working to achieve that plan or not, or where are we in these goals that we've got? Because I've read through the development plan, and there's a lot of things in there. I know both on the city and county side that are out there, but they're just out there by themselves, so.
No, and I agree. I was reading that myself, and I was like, okay, what happened to this?
Right.
And I think that as we sit down and we go back through these, I think these need to be realistic goals, not just put something on paper to say, hey, we put it on paper. I think it needs to be realistic goals, and we need to strive to make that happen every day.
Well,
I agree with
it
you.
needs to go beyond a document that just gets you grant money, you know, because a lot of it is filed, and you have it on file and you have access to funds. But I would prefer just to see it as a living document for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go back in, you know, we used to have a lot of industry in Fannin County, believe that or not. Those of you who lived here all your life, we had a lot of industry here. And you know, we've been told, hey, we're not logistically in the right place to have it anymore. I think we're better off now logistically than we've ever been, you know, as far as that goes. We're 2 hours from anybody. So you know, back in the day, we were 4 hours from anybody. So, but yeah, we had a lot of industry back in the day, and we had a lot of good people lost their jobs, you know, and they had to move out. And then, you know, here come tourism, and I think everybody just grabbed a hold of tourism and said, okay, this is the next industry for us, you know, is tourism. But, you know, I would love for.
That's what the area built.
Yeah, I would love to have a place for my children, my grandchildren to come to work. I really would. And so, I think as we move forward, we look to try to get something in here. So hopefully we can make that happen.
I mean, what happened to cause Fannin's the downtown district, for me to keep hearing about there was nothing there? How, I mean, was there something there and then something
Industry
happened
left.
to the?
The industry
Did
left.
you say that, or are you primarily saying the Levi Company?
Well, you had the Tennessee Copper Company.
Yeah,
They
ban off.
Yeah, you
We had a
had,
lot.
The
yeah,
copper ran out.
No, copper's still
Basically,
there.
it's the richest mining operation in the world for 50 years.
Why did Levi leave?
Because it was
Basically,
cheaper.
wages.
They went
national
overseas.
distribution.
Yeah, it's cheaper to get the copper out of Chile.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank y'all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've run over a little bit, and that's fine, but we're gonna close the public hearing and public commentary. I'll make a motion that we close.
motion.
I'll second. All in favor? All right, then close. All right.
Second,
All right. Put the record. You made a motion. All right, so now we're going to open the regular meeting. And Mr. Patrick, I know we had a prayer to open up the public hearing, but we can never have enough prayer. So if you would hold us up on a regular meeting.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, again, we just come to you. We thank you for the discussion we've had thus far. Thank you for the interest, Lord, that you put into people's hearts. People that are interested, Lord, things happen. And we appreciate each and every one here that is tonight as an interested citizen. Help us as commissioners to be the very best we can be to represent these interested citizens, not just them, but the ones, 26,000 that are in Fannin County, each and every one, Lord. Thank you again for all these things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Oh, you want me to begin? Let's pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
That never, this never gets old. Thank you, Ms. Mello. Okay, under unfinished business, number 2, we have the, approve the minutes of the November 30th, 2021, the regular scheduled board meeting. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in the minutes of the read?
No, sir, I wish that, they're good, in my opinion.
Mr. Surgeon?
None, sir.
I'll ask for a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 30th, 2021 regular scheduled board meeting. I'll ask for that motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, under new business, number 3, we have a variance request from Daniel and Heather Kaufman to build in addition to an existing home, 11.5 feet from the edge of Present Road and 19.5 feet to the center line of Present Road. Is anyone here in favor? Commissioner Reginald? Okay. Is anyone here opposed? Okay. Gentlemen, I guess I'll start off on this one. I went out and took a look at it myself, Mr. Ratcliffe. It looks like it's an extension to an existing home. I'd asked Mr. Ratcliffe, me and him talked about it a little bit. I see no issues with it myself. You have anything, Commissioner Patrick?
No, I also looked at it, very contemporary home, nice home, right on the water. They just wanted to make it a little bit nicer, I guess, bigger. I didn't see any problems whatsoever. It looked like y'all have already started. Are you the person that's
We're not, we're the neighbor.
the neighbor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had started, because I saw him yesterday and he told me about this meeting, and he couldn't be here. And I said, well, I'll go, you know, and he said, yeah, I'd appreciate that. And, but basically, I guess they went through the permitting that they thought, and then they realized this had to be done.
Right.
You know,
So that's why it was started a little bit already on the side.
Right, because they already had, I guess, the building permit,
Yes.
but they didn't have the variance permit.
Right. Okay. I see no issues with it this time.
Mr. Surgeon?
None, sir.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion that we approve the variance request for Mr. and Ms. Kaufman.
I make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, we have a variance request from Painter Properties to place a house 15 feet from the center line and 12 feet from the edge of the existing road, Bluebird Lane. Is anyone here in favor? Okay. Is anyone here opposed? Okay. Those in opposition, if you would, just ask them up to come up.
Yeah.
If you would, if there's a spokesperson, is there a spokesperson amongst you?
Come on up.
If you come up and kind of tell us why you oppose, if you would.
Sure. Lots 23 and 24 are the two in question, and there's a lake forest development with a protective covenant. And it was set forth in January 7th, 1986, and I do have a copy of that. And per the protective covenant, it is for anyone and every person who shall hereafter purchase any lot in the said development. Under Article 5, under the protective covenant, the easement is for 20 feet from the center line. Also, in Article 6, 20 feet from the center line for all roads and 20 feet on each side of the lot for the boundary lines. Under Article 7, there is also enforcement shall be by proceedings at law or in equity against any person or persons who violate the said covenant. Also, Bluebird Lane is a private gravel road that is maintained by the residents of Bluebird Lane. So all of our concerns too is where is the center line? When you have just a one-lane gravel road that is not a county road, where does the center line actually exist? We, as neighbors, work together to make sure that it is maintained. We had it graded and gravelled this past spring. We also physically removed any debris, fill-in ruts, etc. ourselves, so it is not a county road. We also have safety concerns because it is just a one-lane, single gravel access that emergency vehicles would be able to access the area without encumberment from a building so close to the edge of the access. We live in wood structures and we live within the woods, so we have to be able to get the fire department down there to take care of any issues that might come up. We're also concerned about property value, which is why one of the reasons the Lake Forest development was put into place. We don't want a neighborhood that feels cramped. We want our neighborhood to be open and rustic and not have properties so close to proximity to each other. Also, the covenant was put in place for future development. With it being so close to the road, we wonder if in the future there would be issues with putting in sewer eventually, because we did not have sewer at this point in that neighborhood. We have septic. And then also if a paved road was to be put in place, especially if it was going to connect with Dry Branch, anything as far as street lights, sidewalks, etc., as far as adjoining the road, without that proper easement, it would be difficult in order to do that in the future. We do have to look at future development down the road. So the 6 of us who live in that neighborhood have signed this document and would like to submit it. We also have a copy of the protective covenant that was set forth for that particular neighborhood, and we would like to submit that as well.
And just so you know, the county, what we would do is we would be going, we would be approving or disapproving the variance as a setback. You see what I'm saying? So we wouldn't be going by the covenants itself. We can't go by the covenants. So if the county, and again, I think Mr. Fannin's going to come up and speak as well. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. We won't be able to. We can do it as far as setbacks, as far as the county goes, but as far as the covenants goes, that's a different issue. So, but I do appreciate you coming up and speaking. And do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All
Would you
right.
like me to submit this?
If you will, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Payne?
So this is a lot that was put together in '05. There was no other home other than the home that I previously lived in, which was next door. So the other homes in the small subdivision in that cul-de-sac area was not there at the time. I did all the county requirements at the time. We dug a basement, we got, put a sewer, septic tank in. We did everything. We had a building permit. So we met all the requirements at the time. If you'll look at the warranty deed, closing is scheduled for the 31st. And on the warranty deed, there's nowhere in there does it state anywhere about an HOA. It's a private community. I paid for gravel when I lived there as well. But like I said, it's not an HOA, so it's a private community. The protective covenants, if you'll look at that, it basically states 20 feet. But one of the problems, if you, and I'm sure, I think all of y'all been out there, somebody had put a cul-de-sac in that, and that's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a road supposed to be straight down through there. That's why the gravel is so close to the current basement. So I don't know what went on when the last house was built about 3 years ago, but at the time, it was just a straight road down through there. And at the end, the last lot down there is on a rock quarry, so it's unbuildable. So I'll be permanent on that. So we'll be the last house there on the left side. Like I said, there's no HOA. If you look at the protective covenants, we meet the regulations. They've never sent me a bill, no fees, there are no liens based on the attorney, the closing attorney. They went and looked at everything. There are no liens because we didn't pay any fees or we didn't spend any money on gravel or anything like that. And the title check has been done. It's clear, it's clean. And I don't see an issue with it. There's one more house going in that subdivision there. But the road's supposed to be straight. It's not supposed to have a cul-de-sac. And the cul-de-sac, the way they put the gravel in there, put the gravel closer.
What road are you talking about, Mike? The road right here,
Yeah.
it goes down right through the middle of it?
This road right
This
here.
one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that right
That's the
there.
cul-de-sac here?
And they put a cul-de-sac in there.
Okay.
Because the last lot is unbuildable. Because if you walk off that last lot, you gotta be careful. It's a rock where it goes all the way down to the highway. It's about 150-foot drop. So there's not gonna be anything else built there. And like I said, I've had that lot since '05. So evidently, and if you also look at it, the pins, all of the variance, the road is all inside the pins of my lot. If you'll notice that, did you notice that out there? When you looked at it, the pins are all the way over next to the other lot. That's where the road was. That's why the gravel is so
What
close
do you
to
plan
it.
on doing with it?
I've sold it, actually. There's a young couple from Marietta, they're building a house
Build
there.
a residence.
They're gonna be a full-time resident there, yeah.
I represent the buyers of that said property.
Do what?
I'm the agent
Oh,
for the buyers.
good.
I represent the buyers since they're not here.
Okay.
See, Mike, the county can give you a variance, or not give you a variance, but the county can give you a variance as to setback rules for building for the county. But it can't give you a variance for anything in those protective covenants. And that's between you, whoever's issuing the title, and anybody else in the homeowners, in that development, homeowners association or not, that wants to.
Did they give it to the other house that was built 3 years ago? Because it is right up next to the pin.
I don't have any idea. I don't know if that house came and asked for a variance or not.
According to our records, it didn't.
Okay, say it didn't.
Right.
That doesn't stop your other, I just want to make sure that you understand that if this Board of Commissioners votes to give you a variance, it doesn't override these protective covenants. Whether or not these protective covenants apply to this piece of property or not, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that if they do, a county-issued variance doesn't override. They can still file suit under equity like she was reading.
Right.
And you gave us a copy of the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, a county can say, as far as our setbacks, yay, nay, good, better, and different.
When does the protective covenants run out?
Yeah, that's a good question. Go ask
20
the
years in
Supreme
the state
Court.
of Georgia, isn't it?
Unless
they've refiled it and they have.
unless it's more than 15 lots, and then there's a different set of rules.
They have not refiled it.
Like I say, Mike, I ain't checked the title, I'm not checking the title. What I'm just saying is, I don't want you, nor do I want the board, to think if they vote A, they have, that what they're doing overrides anything with these protective covenants. Whether or not, it does not. Whether or not these protective covenants are in force as to this piece of property, I don't know. And that's not the issue before this board. That's an issue that a superior court or a title insurance company would have to resolve. But that's not what.
Well, according to the title check, they're not in force.
Well, like I say, I'm not saying yay, nay, or
There are no
indifferent as to that.
protective covenants in force. That's why this community, they pay their, like she just said, they pay themselves to put gravel in there. They don't charge a fee, they don't give them a fee. They haven't kept them up.
Well, there is a difference between covenants and restrictions, and homeowners associations.
And they're not a homeowners association either.
I wasn't meaning to imply that they were.
So, how many houses is in there?
6, is that right?
In
West.
the
west
cul-de-sac,
of
there are 3.
West of Songbird, there are 3
Well,
homes,
but you said-
R3 homes.
The covenant covers 6, and have you reapplied?
The covenant listed there has multiple
The
lots.
covenants here are 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
And how many homes are in there?
More than that.
More than 20?
25.
In that particular area?
More than 25.
There are only 3 houses, everybody here's been there, there are only 3 houses in that, on that road.
Lots
Correct?
23 and 24 are part of the Lake Forest Protective Covenant. My home and 352 are under Bear Claw, so we actually are under a different one.
That's a whole different thing. There are only 3 houses in that whole area.
Well, I'm not, I don't have any idea about the houses.
Right.
There's just, and this plat literally starts with 1, and these protective covenants apply to lots 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 29, 33, 52, 53, 54, 56, 57, 59, 60, 61, 62. Why it was done that way, I have no idea.
But when you turn on the road, there are only 3 houses there.
Yeah, turn to the left.
Yeah, that's it. And they can be 100 lots, but they're not gonna be buildable there because of the height and the way it's designed. But I think we all, it seems unlikely that, I feel very comfortable that the road has been changed there with the cul-de-sac put in the gravel. There's never been a cul-de-sac there until the last year and a half, since the new house has been built there.
That was there when we purchased the property. Billy Long was the builder, and that was put in for Mr. Long. Now, the property beside us, there are 3 lots. Those are currently for sale as well through Mr. Long. So they're,
But did Mr. Long put the cul-de-sac in?
yes,
There's-
there's,
Yeah. So basically,
yeah.
he
Our
intruded
driveway.
on the
Driveway,
road,
not a
and he
cul-de-sac.
widened
Right.
that in there, which is basically close to my,
What'd you
lot.
say, man?
So Bluebird Lane comes down, and then my driveway is there. And all Billy Long did is when he did the builder's grade, is he just made a turnaround there so that we can get in our driveway off of Bluebird. It's not really a cul-de-sac.
It's not a
It's just an
cul-de-sac. You can't
access for my
turn around
driveway.
without backing up and
You'd have to
doing
go-
a 3-point.
Yeah, you'd have to go
There's
in
an
my driveway.
island right there. It's very, like, when I went to go view the lot, it's very hard to turn around there without
Yeah,
going.
it's not a
Yeah,
cul-de-sac.
no ambulance is gonna be able to turn around there anyway.
No, there's no way.
Well, there's dirt that goes over that the road will continue if you clear that
Yeah,
dirt,
yeah,
which
that dirt-
was dug out by you
That's correct.
for the dig out prior to putting the septic tank in
So
there.
you're saying if they move that dirt, their ambulance is gonna be able to go down
You
that
can
road?
go all the way to
You'll go off
the
that
end of 23 and 24. I am 25 and 22.
Okay.
Those are my
All right,
properties.
okay. I'll just be honest with you, the only problem I see with this, and this is me, and first and foremost, if a lot's on past are up for sale, does that mean that they're gonna open that road on past those?
They can.
Where it's blocked? You
They
see what I'm
cannot
saying?
open that road.
Sure they can.
So there
Where the
is.
dirt, where are you gonna go?
Where that
Ladies
dirt
and gentlemen,
is.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hang on just a minute, let's don't get down the sword, okay? My question is, they're gonna open up that road where the dirt's been pushed to be able to get to the other lots. And there is gonna be building down there as well, correct? Okay. And you're asking to be 12 foot from the edge of the bank? You see what I'm saying? So where the bank slopes off right there,
If you really look where the real road is, we're more than 12 feet. But they've expanded
And
the
on-
road because of the gravel.
On this plat right here, it calls for a 10-foot road is what it calls.
That's right.
And I'm sure that's where you're talking about the builder grade coming in. He just made a little turn right there, and it's a 10-foot road. And as we measured today, and I think the gentleman, you were there with us, the gravel spans 21.5 feet. Okay? So if you go back to doing some figuring right there with a 10 feet, which is the actual road, the 10 foot is actual road. And where we put the additional gravel on it, that's fantastic. I mean, it is what it is. But we have to revert back, and if I'm reading this right, we revert back to originally it was a 10-foot road.
So you take
It's
12
12-foot gravel here, and then brings us to right here, 10-foot gravel drive right there.
Right.
So just based off that, and that alone, you know, I just recommend that you, most definitely, if we're saying 12 feet from the edge, is it 12 feet from the edge of the road, or is it 12 feet from the edge of that bank? And that's what I'm getting at, 12 feet from the edge. I think there's a little wording
That
out
was
there.
the gravel.
Okay.
The
because
gravel
it's
to
already
the edge
dug
is
off.
12 feet, but if you,
Okay.
but that's 22 feet, the road was 10, you take that 12 off, we're 22 feet from the basement, which meets the 20-foot protection covenants in there,
Okay.
by 2 feet.
All right, so just, and again, I want you to understand, based on the numbers that we have right here, okay? And then we'll go from there. So, gentlemen, y'all have anything before we move further?
So we don't have an HOA, right?
No, we just have the protective covenant.
Well, you got, the neighbor said, shaking her head,
Yeah,
yes,
it's a protective covenant.
just a protective covenant,
Mhm.
which is enforced at this time, is that correct?
Yes.
Barbara,
Barbara Snodgrass.
Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if they're protective covenants or if they're enforcing them or not, and I don't know, there's no way for us to know. I don't know if these protective covenants are in force or not.
Okay.
And I don't know if anybody's enforcing them, and I don't know if what Mr. Panner is doing would violate that. But that's not something this board has to
No,
determine.
no. I would,
You just gotta go
recommend
off
at
of
this
the
time,
feet.
I would recommend, Mr. Chairman, at this time, that we table this, let the two entities try to work this thing out, or bring evidence more so to show their case. That we table it at this time, because there's a lot of unknowns. Did you not say so, Ms. Dawes?
There's unknowns, but what I do want to say, Mr. Patterson, is even if they came back and gave us that information, the enforceability of the covenant is an issue between the property
Those two
owners,
and
not
not
us.
and not us.
Yes, they
Right.
could come back and prove that they're 100% in effect. Whether or not Mr. Painter's building would violate those
Right.
covenants is a private issue between the people that would be
They have
subject
to
to
come
this.
back to-
Right. So what we're looking at here, Mike, is you guys gotta get together, or even if we motion, if we prove this variance, which unlikely we won't, then they can go ahead and call suit.
Well, that'd be fine.
So if you guys can work it out together, some way, shape, or form, that would be the best avenue for all purposes. Okay, because whether we vote for it or against it, doesn't matter, they can still
Well, and I-
keep you from selling or building.
But then they will have to do that.
They
But
will
the-
have to
but
do
the
that.
bottom line is the
Legally,
road-
they'll have to do
But
that.
the road is 10 feet, and the gravel's 22 feet, and I'm already 12, so I'm 4 feet away from, according to the protective covenant. I meet all the specifications.
Now, whether he's correct in what he's saying as to the setback from the center of the road, whether or not that setback is also sufficient for the covenants
Right.
is something for somebody else to
Right.
determine.
Right.
But he meets y'all's requirements in the fact that it's 10 feet, not 8, remember, Earl's kind of said that price would not go too low.
Right, right.
So based on this, and what Marie's looked at, I think I don't think there's any problem with y'all bringing the variance. Just, there's a secondary question that this board doesn't have the jurisdiction to resolve.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
nothing to us.
Yeah, it's kinda like y'all are just,
That's a secondary question, so
Yeah.
that's why I want to take to see if they can come up with something.
We have a closing date though, scheduled for the 31st.
are y'all gonna meet on your December date?
They need a little
I
bit
just
of
wanna
time.
say this, if we're gonna sit up here and pass, we have requirements for people that bring variances up, and if Mrs. Doss is telling us that that's none of my business right there.
Without our purview.
Right, but now, as far as what is our business, is the variances and what we allow. And if we're allowing people these variances, I don't see why we're denying him if he's within our legal part. Because correct me if I'm wrong, their problem is between these two parties here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't look at, these are old covenants, there's some really funky case law out there as to whether or not these covenants are still in existence or not. But I'm not prepared to sit here and say, and quite frankly, what my opinion is, doesn't matter a hill of beans, because it's a superior court judge that would have to say, yes, you,
That's what
no,
I'm
you, or
saying.
yes, you, no, you.
I'm just looking at our responsibility. And if he's meeting our responsibilities and what we asked, I'm sorry, but our job is to do one thing, not to fight two parties' problems or solve that. That's not what we're here for. We're not that high. That's a court system. That's a civil
why I
issue.
want to table it to see if they can, give them opportunity to regroup, look at the
It ain't gonna
thing.
matter. It ain't gonna matter what they do.
So, and I think basically, again, what he's saying is, does he meet our requirements as a county?
Yeah, that's what I'm
From
saying.
what the variance request is,
Well, there's a secondary issue here, as Ms. Donaldson said. There's a secondary issue.
that is between those two parties.
Y'all could say no, and it doesn't matter. That doesn't, if you said no, it doesn't affect what those covenants say. If y'all say yes, it doesn't affect those covenants.
No, don't affect them.
So I don't think we should get involved.
Well, we're not involved in their personal issues. We're only doing what's everybody has been coming through here ever since I've been on this board asking for these variances. And he's meeting what we allow. And so I don't see it's right to deny somebody that's meeting the requirements that we've said, is what I'm saying.
I've owned it since '05.
I don't care how long you own it, but what I'm saying is that it's just not my fight, is what I'm saying. If I was a judge sitting here, it's a different ballgame. I'll sit and rule on it. But that's not my part. I'm here, and this board has set what we feel is good for variances when everybody comes through here, stands where you're standing. And so I don't see how we can go against ourselves, is what I'm trying to say, and what we're
I don't think
asking.
we are. Mr. Hensley brought up a point a minute ago that we've got 12 feet and 15 feet here, and there's a little bit of a gray area right there. Right, Mr. Hensley?
The only gray area that I saw was the original road.
Right.
And it's 12 foot reduced down to 10 foot.
Right.
And 10 foot, according to this plat right here, is up toward the line, okay? So when I went and measured today, me and Miss Woody went and measured, it was, the gravel span was 21.5 foot. So if we revert back to the 10 foot original road that Mr. Long had put in there, he would meet those requirements. And that's the only thing, and again, this is just going by the numbers right here. It looks like he fits our,
But still, it was
request for
12, so
us.
he's still 2 foot.
so
If we do that, Mr. Painter sells it, and then there's a legal issue after that.
it's between,
If they get it solved on their, yeah.
it takes us out of the
Can
equation.
y'all
We
work,
just
can y'all
granted a
I would
variance.
like to
together?
resolve it before we buy it.
Could y'all get together or something? I mean,
That's what I'm wanting to do.
well, it's there, yeah, but I understand that, Mr. Patterson, but what I'm saying is that that we still have an obligation as a board on this variance.
But we have an obligation not to solve it tonight. If we want to, we can table it and give
But
them opportunity.
what we're trying to solve is nothing to us. That's what I'm trying to
That's
say.
why I'm not wanting to vote on it.
Okay.
I think in the past, Ms. Dawes, haven't we tabled something like this?
Mr. Patterson, we've tabled different things for, when
Various
there was
reasons.
a reason, when there was a chance that, that the parties could resolve it in a manner, but our decision, y'all's decision, not ours, y'all's decision one way or the other would have tipped the scales. It would have said you win, you lose, or you lose, you win.
Right.
But what y'all do tonight's not gonna say that to either party.
So it doesn't matter whether we vote yes or no, or,
Well-
or table it.
That's one way of looking at it.
And
Another way
you know what I'm saying?
is for y'all to vote yes or no, and then presuming you vote no, then Mr. Panner has to figure out what he's gonna do, whether or not what he's gonna do. If you vote yes, that means as far as the county's concerned, this property meets the county setback requirements. Whether or not it meets the covenants is something that the various property owners that are subject to these covenants will need to go out and get a real estate attorney and maybe ask a judge.
Exactly. Well, see, I don't think either party want to get into a legal
I've got a closing on
litigation here.
I don't really care, I've got a closing, and I meet the county standards.
If the variance is approved, then we are obligated to our contract with Mr. Painter. But my buyer will be here on the 14th to meet with contractors, their local builders, and we would love to discuss with y'all, because we don't want any issues. I mean, they just want a good second home. It's gonna be a cube house that matches what y'all have in there now, and to fit in the basement that's already been dug out with the septic system that's already in place. So that he would love to meet with y'all to make sure that this is resolved.
There we go.
Before we move
There we
forward.
go.
Because our closing is not till January 7th. We had to extend it. It was gonna be the 31st, we've extended it to the 7th. And then that'll give us plenty of time to discuss everything, to make sure we're all happy to get, to close on this contract. And
Where are they gonna park their car?
well, that was my big question, because
I mean, there's
I think
no
he's gonna have
place.
to go on the other lot.
But
It
I mean,
would be in the road, and
Well, I'm
that's
thinking
the
he's just gonna
safety.
have to, I mean, my husband's a grader, so he can go out there and look and see.
I'm a contractor's daughter.
Yeah, me too.
And my suggestion is to move further in, to dig
It's
out.
gonna have to be there, but the road should probably curve around into the
No,
basement maybe.
You grade
onto
that
his property.
hump down, and it's clear the whole way. There's residents along there, I've numbered it a million times.
Well, y'all.
Yesterday, I walked straight down to Holler
Yeah.
along that property line. Have you walked it?
I walked to the basement, I haven't gone further.
Oh, that's nothing. I mean, there's plenty of room to build a home.
Yeah.
The septic tank is there, I think,
The septic tank is in.
but do we have a permit? Is there a leach field?
I think the field is there, but as far as the permit.
I haven't seen a permit.
Who owns that pile of dirt that you keep on talking? You do?
He put it there to block the road.
There's no, walk over that bank and you'll see did you walk
And
over
there's
that
a
bank?
clear road to go
There's
down.
another.
It's clear to go all the way
there's another-
down.
Looks like what used to be a road that went down through there.
So what's
Yeah.
the problem with that dirt pile?
We just,
No, we just asked if we're going, you got more lots down there to sell,
You gonna move it?
so.
yeah, I mean, we just took it out to dig the basement, we were gonna build that at the time.
Okay.
Oh, so that pile's not staying there?
No, we moved that pile.
How are you gonna build there if there was a variance? How did you pull permits if there was a variance issue?
It was not a
That's
variance
what I
issue
don't
until-
understand.
It wasn't a variance issue till they changed
Okay,
the road.
all right, ladies and gentlemen.
No, the
All right.
road's always been there.
All right,
I've been
hang on.
there 9
Ma'am.
years.
All right.
Please. Okay, so we need to make a decision, gentlemen, if we need to vote on it. So, does he meet our standards as far as that goes? So, I'll ask for a motion. I'll ask for a motion that we approve the variance request from Painter Properties based on the numbers that we have, that he fits our guidelines as far as the variance. I'll ask for that motion.
I'll second it.
I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
That's only on what we set our standards at.
Based on our numbers. I'll second this motion, only because I feel that he meets our requirements. So I'll second that motion. And please understand that it's just our requirement. So what happens here after this, that's between y'all, okay? So, I'll second that motion. All in favor? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fannin. All right. Next is a variance request from Paul and Don Carlson to place a garage 8 feet from the property line. Is anyone here for Mr. and Ms. Carlson? Is anyone opposed? Okay. So, gentlemen, as we went up there as well, beautiful place up on Green Ranches. It's unbelievable. But I saw no issues, and I think a letter is attached, if I'm not mistaken, by the neighbor as well. So I see no issues with it. Commissioner Patrick?
We've got one correction there. The neighbor that gave his permission said 10 feet.
10 foot.
The Carlsons said 8 feet. So this is initialed by, I think, Marie Woody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is 10 feet. With that being said, I looked at it, I don't see an issue with it at all.
Okay.
As long as it's 10 feet instead of 8 feet.
Is it, so it's 10 feet?
10 feet.
Yeah.
That's what the letter said.
Yeah.
That's what the neighbor.
And I think Mr. Carlson agreed to that too, and I apologize, I read it from here, and instead of 10 foot, so my apologies.
As long as 10 foot, which Maria's initial here, we'll get good shape.
And we'll just make sure that, so, and it's to place a garage 10 foot from the property line.
Right,
Okay,
not 8.
gotcha. Commissioner Searcy, anything on that?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion that we approve the variance request from Paul and Don Carlson.
I'll make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Much easier, right?
2 feet. I'm over here with 2 feet.
Okay, so number 6, we had asked Mr. O'Neill to come before, and it says board action, and my apologies, it's supposed to be board discussion on outdoor ball courts at the rec facility. This does, it's for tennis, pickleball, and basketball. This would be outdoor facilities, and this would be funded by the TPD money, Tourism Product Development money, through the chamber. So basically it's discussion on that. So Commissioner Patterson, anything?
No, I have no problem with those things over at the Tom Boyd.
Okay.
I think they're good, and I think they'll help our children, and not just our children, but also the older people a lot. There's a lot of activity with pickleball and things like that, and plus we've had the chamber that has worked real hard on this, and they've looked at it very strongly, and I feel like it's a good thing.
Mr. Searcy?
Now this is gonna redo the courts and stuff?
No, this is new.
New,
Brand new.
outdoor,
Oh, they're new?
Mhm.
outdoor, right.
What's the cost on it?
It's around 245,000 when you tally it all up. And I think,
God bless you.
I had about 250 when I added,
Yeah.
it's in that ballpark.
It's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
So,
it's coming out of that
sure, it'll probably.
200 round?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, and just to kind of give us an idea, you know, as we, young lady was talking about earlier, you know, we try to listen to folks, not only our local citizens, but also tourists as well. And this is something that, you know, that comes to mind is some outdoor facilities, because, you know, we know sometimes the rec facility is closed either, you know, with sickness or just different things. So this will give an opportunity for folks, not only local folks, but tourists to come in and play at those facilities as well. So,
That's good.
all right, so we'll continue on that. Anything else before we move forward on that?
Tennis, pickleball, and basketball played,
Mhm.
right? Those
Yep.
three things. And it's really close to the rec center.
It is.
I mean, they
Right
just
next
can
to
walk
it.
out there, and it's right there.
Yeah, I know what
Good weather.
Anything else?
I have no problem.
Okay, all right. So number 7, it's the appointment of Ken Gaddis to the Fannin County Water Authority, and the appointment is made by Post 2 Commissioner Glenn Patterson. Mr. Patterson?
I talked with Ken, and then I talked with people on the board already. And Ken is a plumber, a master plumber, I think, and he's done a lot of work with the city, right, Mike? And he was on the city council, by the way, for a good time, and I think this would be an excellent appointment. And he's all for it, and so I think it would be wise to do so.
Commissioner Searcy, any
I
comments?
know Ken's a good boy. He's a good young man, was a good councilman, and, yeah, he's a good choice.
All right, I'll ask for a motion that we appoint Ken Gaddis to the Fannin County Water Authority.
I make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Mr. Gaddis is not here, so we can't ask him his thoughts, so he's just stuck with it, I guess.
Probably moving.
And also, I'll touch base with Anita, and she'd be very pleased. She's for this deal at all. Anita Weaver, our chairman.
Number 8 is the reappointment of board members to the Fannin County Rec Board. Brandon Holloway is the first one. He'll be a 2-year term. And Charlene Foster will also be a 2-year term, and this is appointed, of course, by the complete board, as far as that goes. And I know both of these had been on the rec board, and everything they do, they try to look forward to building the rec department. And I'm pleased with that. You know, our kids come up through rec, and it's come a long way. Still has a ways to go, but I remember, you know, going out there with 5-gallon buckets and picking up rocks and dumping them over in the ditch. That's what we had to do before practice and before every game. And so to find people that really are interested in the rec department, and again, you know, it's a good thing for our youth in the county. But as we improve our rec department, you know, there's a lot of tourists that take advantage of that as well. So we're thankful for those two willing to serve again. So, and they're not here either, so they're willing to serve again, right? So,
Right.
so we'll start with Mr. Holloway. I'll ask for a motion that we reappoint Mr. Holloway to a 2-year term to the Fannin County Recreation Board.
I'll make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. The second reappointment would be for Charlene Foster, again, a 2-year term. I will make a motion that we reappoint Charlene Foster to a 2-year term to the Fannin County Rec Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. They're stuck with us again for 2 more years. And once again, before we go any farther, anybody listening or whatever, if you're interested in becoming, on any kind of board, please reach out to us. Because we do have reappointments. But as we talked about in the past, meeting, not everybody wants to serve on a board of anything. So if you're interested in serving on anything, please submit your name and what you're interested in, we'll go from there, okay? So number 9, Public Works Director, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'll give you one of these for you guys to look at.
Yep.
This is the LB grant, this is a state grant that we get each year. And we get from the $706,375.11. That's from them. We got a match of about 30%. So that's $211,911,000.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
your speak up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
All right. We've got to meet that by 30%. So at the 30% is what I'm asking for tonight, so we can go forward with this grant. This grant will be, most likely be used on the Cut Can Road. We'll be resurfacing, paving that road. So that's kind of where we're at. Also with that same grant, I mean, I'm going to step off to the side with this a little bit. We have a safety grant that I'm going to be able to use. If we pave this road, it won't cost us zero to have the striping, plastic striping put on it.
Zach, could you speak up a little bit? There's some people out here
It's
giving me signals.
Is the mic on?
yes.
Yeah, turn it right down the side.
That's still, oh, there it is. All right.
Okay, now can you?
Now.
Okay.
Let's start all over.
We'll start all over.
Say good evening, Commissioner.
This is an LMIG grant that we're talking about getting. I've got to meet this by 30%. That's what I'm asking you guys for tonight. And I'm planning on using it to pave the Cut Cane Road. And with that being said, we normally use some of this money to stripe the road. There's a safety element grant out there that's they're working on. That particular grant is going to cost us a little money. I'm going to try to use that to stripe the road if they'll allow it. But it's out there. I'm trying to make it happen. But
You have to have 30% of that.
have to have 30% of that $706,375. So that's the 211, 911.
56.
Yeah. That's what I tell them. That money will come out of the SPLOST fund.
Okay.
Well, as we drove up Cut Cane the other day, we know it could use some work. And, it's amazing at the amount of
Traffic's
traffic
terrible.
that they,
Yeah.
I know we kidding go on, but it really is.
I'm telling you.
Because there's a lot of facilities up there that people use not to measure. The amount of homes have been built on it, so,
Some people are using it for cut through too. I mean, they're coming off of 60 and coming through there also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is something that we do each year.
Each year.
So they'll make a grant, we still have to come up with a matching portion of that too, so this is nothing new as far as that goes.
And with this, I try to keep this in I'd rather keep it on one road because of the amount of money that we've got to spend on it and, make that work. So it's about, I think it's 8 miles, maybe I'm telling you somewhere in there, 8 miles, and then we look at the Friendship Road, it's a couple tenths, so we're just looking at 8.3 or so, something like that, maybe. And this is kind of, I'm going to step aside again here, when we get to the next part of this up here. I'd like to widen that road too, and it won't be coming from this grant, so I'm just saying, this road needs to get done, you're doing that right.
Be a lot safer, won't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a very narrow road. It's a long road.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. A lot of curves.
Yeah.
Commissioner Patterson, any,
No, I'm
anything
good.
as far as the LMIG grant goes and the matching portion?
I'm good with it.
Commissioner Surley?
I'm fine, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve, to pay the portion of the LMIG grant, earmarked for Cut Cane Road. I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Second part of this, I'm asking for a piece of equipment. This thing, Patrick, if you will, we'll kind of show you on the screen what it looks like, because I can tell you all about it and do it justice. The machine you see is between the dump truck and the blower, and it's called a road widener. And that thing was just out to about 24 inches wide. We can widen the road. We can widen the road out to 24 inches. You're seeing dirt and gravel going down there, but we can also run asphalt through that and do the width on the road also. And you look up, if you look behind the machine, there's absolutely nothing on the pavement. It's clean. It's a very well thought out piece of equipment. And I think that we can, you see the road behind the machine there, it's clean, nothing's on the road.
Right.
If we'd done it today, we'd have to dump that material in the road, scrape it out of the road, and hopefully we get enough of it off the road, it wouldn't leave anything on the road. So you see how clean the road is. It's a big savings on material. So that's kind of what we do with that. So we can widen the roads with that, wherever we desire, like Love Road, for instance. You said maybe you've been up there and seen the edge roads where the road's breaking away.
Yeah.
That will fix that.
Get them lights fixed. Zach, I just want to tell you, I appreciate the job you're doing. I mean, our roads are looking good. You're taking care of them real well. So we're basically self-sufficient as far as taking care of our shoulders now and our pavement.
But what the reason I do the LME, the safety element, or not safety element, but the pavement LME, is we've got such a long road to do. With contractors out to get in and get out, we've got a good riding road.
How much did we spend last time doing a shoulder? What was the amount that cost the county?
$300,000.
It cost us 3, 4.
Well, it's 8 miles, 4 in, 4 out. But, yeah.
So we're gonna be saving that.
Quite a bit of it.
How much does this piece of equipment cost?
$50,000, $33.
When can you get it?
I can call them tomorrow, and they'll probably start the process. It's in stock, so it'll cost sometime in the next couple of weeks.
You want to use it on the cut can?
Yes, sir, that's my plan. Two widen cut cane before we pave it. That way, when we pave it, it's all done. It'll be complete.
Awesome.
I didn't know if you'd have some problems with the supply chain.
No, he assured me that it's in stock and it's in South Georgia right now, so he said.
That's supposed to get our striping going. We're having a lot of complaints on striping our roads.
That's been a big issue too.
And this is gonna come out of your budget, right?
It will come out of my SPOS budget.
Reckon we'll take $49,999.
I tried every way in the world.
You can
Throw them in a gift card.
Yeah. And that is, by the way, that is under state contract, so it was as low as it could possibly get.
You know anything about the warranty on these guys?
Not for sure. I'm sure there is some warranty. I don't know. You want to get a year and whatever else comes.
It's brand new, right?
It is brand new.
Commissioner Patrick, anything else for you?
No, I think we ought to get it. I think that'll help us out a lot.
Commissioner Churchman?
No, sir, I'm with the coach over there.
And it's safety as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll ask for a motion that we approve the purchase of the road widening equipment.
Make a motion.
I ask for a second.
You got it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank God.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank y'all for that, because if you guys remember back sometime back, we bought the Caterpillar skid steer. That's what they'll be pushing on. We're good.
Well,
Thank you.
We hope to make these roads a little safer for
Right.
people traveling, for sure, because this will help us out. Brings us to number 10, board action on the fiscal year 2022 budget resolution. This is to adopt the proposed budget, which we had the hearings on. Any questions? on this, gentlemen, before we vote?
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sir? I'll make a motion that we adopt the 2020, the fiscal year 2022 budget. I'll make that right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Hope that will help us out, help our employees out. That's our goal anyway. And last but not least, on number 11, board discussion on the last meeting in December. Commissioner Patterson, you could probably elaborate on this, but I think it's, it has been customary, been a custom in the past,
Yes,
that we take the last meeting off.
right. That's correct.
Do you have any concerns, Commissioner Searcher, or do you want to have?
I don't get to see you until January.
Well, you're always subject to a call.
Oh, okay.
I
No.
ain't gonna be on that beach in
Well, I'm
Hawaii.
gonna miss you, Ted. See you next year. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
All right. I'll make a motion, I'll make a motion that we skip the last meeting in December and re-adjourn in January.
Okay. And that would be, you got a date in mind?
January the,
Don't I ask?
That's the date.
Let's
Yeah.
find our calendar.
That's awesome.
I do have a calendar.
the 11th, I believe it's gonna be.
Is that right?
The 11th.
Oh, Lord.
Fingers and toes come in handy. So I'll make that motion that we miss the last meeting in December and re-adjourn January the 11th.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Ah,
All right. Now to our favorite portion. It's public commentary. If anybody wants to come up and speak, please raise your hand, come up, tell us where you're at. Mr. Webb?
What else? I'm Joe Webb. I live in the south area of the county, and this is important because I basically spoke to the south area of the county relative to comprehensive planning. I'd like to make first a couple of comments on the agenda items. On number 11, Merry Christmas to us all. Number 10, I don't believe there are any changes between the hearing and now. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I had all my other questions answered by Sherry in between meetings, so that's good. I want to say good on number 9. This shoulder issue is a huge public safety issue. All you have to do is drive down most roads and you can find a pothole right there on the side. And that's really a huge opportunity for us. I also would like to go back to an issue that Earl and I discussed a few years ago, and that's road striping. And do we have a plan for it? I'm glad to see we've got it included in the grant thing, but again, you cannot see county roads right now, especially the one-lane roads that we basically have chipped and sealed. Those have no reflectivity, and basically they wander through the woods. They're trees that come fairly close to cars. So striping long-term is very important to us. On the variance issues, it would seem on number 3 that we issued a building permit without the variances. And to me, this is the cart before the horse. Because if I have a building permit, I should be able to go build. So I would like to see if we can sort of look at that. So anyway, I've been pleased with the meeting atmospheres, the discussion. It's been good. This board is working hard, and I appreciate y'all working with the community on the planning coming up. I'll make a short request. We're still basically in the loop trying to do good over at the theater, paving the parking lot. I like the discussions I've had with the post commission and the chairman. Hopefully we can get on through the process on this and help us. Thank you. Have a happy new year.
Thank you, Ed.
thank you. Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Charles Donaldson, and I live out in Mineral Bluff. And I have an interest in what we've been hearing today as far as the planning, our future planning. And I would like to volunteer or at least express my interest in being a part of that plan.
Love to have you.
Right.
It'd be great.
Mr. Donaldson, if you'll,
You'll make sure she has your name
Yeah.
and number.
All right.
let's get your number.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
interest.
Anyone else? It's gonna be almost a whole month before we come on. Come over here and talk to us a little bit.
system now.
Better get it out of your system.
One more? Hey, I'm gonna take this one minute. I want to thank my daughter for coming tonight. She sat back there in the back.
Oh.
I appreciate her coming and, you know, as we look around, and I can say this, ain't none of us getting any younger, right? But to have their interest, to come up here, that it tickles me to death that they come up here to find out what's going on in their community, our community. So,
I used to be in Hayes.
yes, you was.
Hey, if you ever want to know if I have a set that will work 4 hours a day, it's 91.
Yeah.
Bill Jefferson.
So,
You sure you don't want to open public comment again in case, you know, she wants to get something off her chest?
we would rather not. If she's got something to say, come on up here and say it.
I'll spare you this time.
Thank you very much. We're going to, no.
You'll hear about it.
Yeah, we'll hear about it in a little while.
Budget resolution.
Budget resolution. Yeah, we got to sign it. I got it right here to sign, actually. If you guys want to sign this, and I'll rattle just a minute more while you sign it. I do want to thank each and every one of you for coming out each week and your interest in our community. Because it does mean a lot to look out and see the different faces, to see the regular faces. It means a lot to us to see each and every one of us, and it does. It's just, you know, obviously there's so many more that could come, but to have that communication with each and every one of us, and again, I'm new to this, but it has been great to talk to each and every one of you, and that's something that we feel that is very important to us, is that we communicate with each and every one. We may not always agree, and we're not going to, but if we did, we wouldn't be doing our job, right?
That's right.
So we're thankful that we have differences of opinions, but at the end of the day, know that I'm only speaking personally. I have nothing personal against anybody, and that's just how it is. We're trying to do the best we can, and we appreciate each and every one of you. I want you all to have a Merry Christmas, first and foremost, and a Happy New Year after that. But please come back again. All right, we'll be looking forward to it. Commissioner Patrick.
I don't want to get over it. Talk too much. Well, it's been a quick year, and we have gotten a lot accomplished. I think there's still a lot to do, and I enjoy working with these two men. I think we all three have the interest of Fannin County most at heart, and that's what it takes. And I think overall we keep an open mind, one way or the other. I'm pretty sure we do. And we appreciate all of y'all coming. Hope Santa Claus brings you what you want. Okay.
Not what you deserve.
Not what you deserve. I didn't say that.
That's what I said, not what you deserve.
Johnny?
I just thank the Lord every day, because this time last year, at this time I wasn't, this is the holiday, and Brenda, tell you, Christmas is my favorite time of the year, and I miss every bit of this, and I'm just excited about being here and trying to do right and want to do good for everyone, it really kills me that I don't get to see these guys or these people be here in front of you until, January of 2022. So I mean, you know, I mean, it's just something I get to, you know, because I've got a drill sergeant at the house that stays on me, and she keeps me in line. But it's a blessing for me to come out here. It helps me mentally, physically, and I just want to say thank you. I thank these people sitting up here, because it's really awesome when you work with people and you're on a team that wants the best for everybody. And so that makes it easier for me. And, you know, being sports like we are and stuff, teamwork means a lot to me. And so it's just an honor to serve, and I appreciate that the Lord give me the honor to serve these people here. And so thank you, and God bless, and hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Amen.
With that being said, I'll ask for a motion that we adjourn.
Now make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.